Welcome back to the best narrations in town. Today we have Magic, level 99990 Zone, all attribute Great Sage. This story starts with Welcome, someone who got robbed by the system for way too long. Magic's strength is gauged by its rank, and each circle adds to that power. So now he knows the formula. But as soon as he cracks the code, another challenge looms. His face hardens, resolve sharpening into anger. He can't afford to rest. Every step forward brings new threats. The climb feels endless, but there's progress. That small device he's never seen before, it doesn't bode well. Before he can catch his breath, something else shifts. The magic levels drop, signaling fresh trouble around the corner. It's a race against time, with no room for error. Gates opened across the world, and monsters pushed humanity to the edge. Hunters became the people holding that edge together, climbing from 1 star to 7 through brutal gate clears, and luck most people never survive. Then one man reached 9 stars that should have made him humanity's strongest weapon. Instead, it made him a target. The 7 great families saw his power over life and death and decided he was too dangerous to leave alive. So now assassins are coming for him, and the worst part is simple. He still does not know what secret scared them enough to start the hunt. The climb through the dungeon remains his only way out, but the stakes are climbing faster than ever before. As he pushes deeper into the labyrinthine depths, an enemy is already setting up the next trap. This isn't just a random encounter, someone's playing a game with him. Assassins are coming for him now, their attacks flaring as recognition from the ring hints at a bigger conspiracy he can't unravel yet. So while he grinds through the dungeon, another foe is building the next trap. Suddenly, the rules shift, giving him a new advantage, though it comes with its own risk. A student might be using magic as heaven, but their level is too low. His power over life and death has leveled up, making each step less like pure suffering and more like a slow climb toward progress. But to think she was about to get killed by such a low-level monster. Her magic levels have dropped significantly, making even the weakest foes seem dangerous again. It's a reminder that every step forward is tenuous at best, and of course the relief barely lasts. You're lucky you were right in the middle of that explosion. The grind isn't getting any easier. He still needs to understand what this broken power is actually doing, but he's not giving up. He's lucky to have been right in the middle of that explosion. Whatever the system is doing, it hasn't explained itself properly yet. This is the first time they've spoken to each other. What business does the magic nobility have with him? He still needs to understand what his broken power is actually doing. So far, the system has given him a new advantage, but at a significant risk. Progress is finally visible now. The grind isn't as painful anymore. It's clear how power and status work here. But there's no explanation from the beta test system about its actions or intentions. Why is there a demon solder here? The moment things start looking stable, another mess begins moving into place. Kusanagi KLN was ranked at the bottom last year, and whatever the system is doing, it still hasn't made sense to him. The pressure mounts again. The reward sounds useful, but he knows better than to trust it blindly. The orc chieftain's corpse could become a weapon, a warning, or another rule the system forgot to explain. So before he celebrates, he studies the option like it might bite him. Because in this world, even a prize can turn into a trap if he uses it wrong. He's got a weapon now, but it feels less like a prize and more like another warning from the system. It's clear they're still trying to apologize, but have no clue how to do it properly. So while demons rank based on fixed numbers, his newfound power remains as murky as ever. He can't trust anything until he figures out exactly what these changes mean. But before anyone can bask in any victory, standing out starts looking like an invitation to trouble. And that curse? Standing out is such a random in the insane. Even if they hit me, I won't have any effect. The moment this looks stable, the next mess starts moving, but no happen was done to the general. So there were students using magic outside the school. I was informed that the police cleared most. Before anyone can enjoy the win, at this point somebody clearly wants him dead. At this point, somebody clearly wants him dead. So Chinen changes the terms. He does not ask for help like a normal person. He offers recipes, money, and the kind of partnership that sounds suspiciously close to being owned. 1 second, it is, be my servant. The next it becomes, no, my partner. Honestly, progress. But the deal works because Chinen needs alchemy tools, rank mana stones, and someone who can keep up while he carves bones and imbues them with curses. Yuma and Haibara may not like his attitude, but they can see the profit. More importantly, they can see that Chinen's plan is already moving faster than their doubt. This is also where the group dynamic finally starts working. Not warmly, exactly, more like three suspicious people, realizing they are more useful together than apart. Chinen needs hands, tools, and materials. Yuma and Haibara need profit and a reason not to run. So the partnership forms under the worst possible social skills imaginable, and somehow that makes it more believable. Nobody trusts him yet, but they are starting to trust the results. By the third day, Chinen's stats have climbed enough that the gate should feel easier. It does not. The system still blocks parts of the information, the route keeps pulling them forward, and the next target is an orc settlement. That is not a quick clean-up job, that is a mana-draining meat grinder. Still, Chinen smiles because the undead formation is growing. Every corpse adds pressure. Every fight teaches him what bone control can actually do. The others see a settlement full of monsters. Chinen sees a workshop with tusks, bones, and a very loud warning label. This is the first moment where the math starts fighting back. One corpse was proof of concept. A few undead were useful, but now he has to manage numbers, positioning, and the first real question every necromancer has to answer: can you control the army before the army drains you dry? Chinen does not have the luxury of practicing slowly. The monsters are right there, and every mistake costs mana he cannot afford to waste. The orc fight turns into the first real stress test. Managing 6 undead drains Chinen's mana like crazy, and the chieftain will not fall unless he pierces its heart in one clean blow. So he waits, lines up the opening, and makes the hit count. That should be the prize. It is not. The real prize is Sora Kashiwagi, the mage fighter who once held the front line 35 years ago to stop a monster wave from pushing south. Sora thought his death meant something. Chinen looks at him and sees a second chance, not as a hero in a grave, but as power that can stand up again. Sora is not just another strong body for the collection. He is history with a pulse missing from it. A hero who died holding the line now becomes the exact kind of ally Chinen needs: experienced, dangerous, and already familiar with sacrifice. That gives the victory emotional weight. Chinen is not simply looting a corpse. He is taking someone whose death mattered and asking whether that meaning can keep moving. And for a necromancer, that question is basically the whole story. Every win means less if there's no way to break the curse. He needs to know how far this goes before trusting any reward. This is where the real work begins. Suddenly, everything shifted. These weren't random attackers. They were part of something bigger. Someone wanted him cornered, and now the ring was showing him why. After the shock wore off, it was time to face facts. How much magic power did he really have? With this revelation, the next move became clearer. Someone was pulling strings behind this chaos, and understanding their motive was key to surviving. Finally, progress was visible. This wasn't just pure suffering anymore. He needed to keep climbing because standing still meant getting caught in an endless cycle. Each step brought him closer to breaking free from the curse that had been haunting him. Now every hit felt like a step forward. Before, his efforts seemed futile, but now he saw tangible results. The numbers finally started moving, proving that this grind wasn't pointless after all. It wasn't about survival alone. It was about escaping a trap that once seemed impossible to break. The breakthrough stops being simple loot and turns into money, leverage, and a fresh problem. Everyone around the deal starts acting polite in that very specific way people act when they smell profit. He tries to use the magic stone split before the powerful families cash in first. It might buy him room to move, but it can also become another trap with a price tag. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. He had just won another battle, but the victory was hollow. Someone powerful wanted him dead and wasn't playing games, so he kept pushing forward, treating each fight as if it were his last. Low-grade spells flew at him again, relentless and cheap. But every small win only made him more visible. The room went tense. Another enemy appeared out of nowhere, ready to strike. He slipped past the blade, saw the ring flare against his hand. It was clear whoever was pulling these strings didn't care about subtlety. No time to rest. Another wave hits him without pause. With 58 magic users in the school building alone, there's no breathing room. Each victory just sets up another fight, but now he can't ignore the nagging truth. The curse looms over everything. It's steering his next move. This latest win does nothing if breaking that curse isn't part of the plan. Now the curse isn't a distant worry, it's an immediate threat hanging over every breath, and as anger flares, he knows this mess is far from over. Anger burns in his gut as he realizes this latest victory means nothing if breaking the curse isn't part of the plan. The problem now looms large. The curse isn't just a distant worry, it's an immediate threat hanging over every breath. Desperation gnaws at him. Every move feels like walking into another trap set by unseen hands, and with each step forward, the weight of what this means for him grows heavier. It's clear someone wants him dead, and that feeling of superiority has vanished. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The reward sounds useful, but he knows better than to trust it blindly. The orc chieftain's corpse could become a weapon, a warning, or another rule the system forgot to explain. So before he celebrates, he studies the option like it might bite him, because in this world, even a prize can turn into a trap if he uses it wrong. The curse looms large now, pushing him toward his next move. With the training camp taking shape, they thought they could finally rest. But the curse isn't done yet. It waits until they feel safe before striking again. Now he has an army forming up, but demands for resources and support grow louder. Just as progress seems within reach, another kid shows up out of nowhere. What's she doing here? This isn't her fight, yet beasts appear near Tokyo Tower, making clear that stability is fleeting. The next wave hits hard and fast. The open space around them fell silent, as if waiting for something to happen. Then attackers appeared like a setup. It felt wrong from the start. His ring flared violently, reacting to their presence. This wasn't another random fight. Someone wanted him cornered. T was said one who defeated the calamity at the academy. What's this brat doing here? Surrounding him were high-ranking mages and beast tamers, but most were only a few steps above novice level. There's hardly anyone with power on par with his. Beasts have been appearing near Tokyo Tower recently, making clear that stability is fleeting. Nice progress, but the curse is still sitting there like an unpaid bill. He can't ignore it anymore because the curse is steering his next move. He needs to figure out what his broken magic is actually doing before trusting any reward. Rules shift, giving him a new advantage, alongside a risk. Why are these overconfident mages here? And why does the curse keep pushing him forward when he just wants to stop? But relief barely lasts. The beasts are heading towards the city pay. Stability barely lasts. Just as relief sets in, the beasts start moving toward the city gates. Chaos hits again, but while he's pushing through the dungeon, someone's already laying down the next trap. You can't catch your breath, there's no time to rest. A magic barrier blocks his path. Just when you think one challenge ends, another begins. And while he keeps pressing forward, an enemy is setting up the next trick behind his back. It's like trying to run on quicksand, every step gets harder. This isn't over yet. So this win is useful, but only because it points back toward the curse problem. Monsters poured out of gates like an endless tide, forcing the world to rebuild around this disaster. Every victory feels hollow when you know the curse lurks beneath. The police are useless against these waves of beasts. What's next? He must figure out the rule before trusting any reward. This win points back towards solving the curse problem. The ring flared as soon as he took a breath, turning another headache into something more sinister. 1 second, the attackers were just another obstacle in an endless line of trouble. Next thing he knew, the cursed trinket on his hand was reacting like it recognized them, like it had been waiting for these exact people. So now the fight wasn't random anymore. Someone sent these guys, someone wanted him cornered, and the ring gave him the first real clue. He started wondering if mage levels were low enough for the police to be helpless. All he needed to do was cultivate and lead mages. That's why they say reaching the highest limit of magic power is crucial. But the rules shifted, giving him a new edge with a risk attached. He still needs to understand what this broken power actually does. Finally, seeing progress made the grind look less like pure torture. Their strength has changed, but so have the stakes. The system kept apologizing. But that didn't change what this means. He can't afford to let down his guard. The curse lurks beneath everything else, growing heavier with each problem. The next issue steps right up to meet him. Looks like not all of you are trash after all. He's got one goal: keep his family safe no matter what. But as he faces another challenge, that curse looms over him, making every problem heavier on his shoulders. Then, out of nowhere, someone proves they're worth more than just trash. The room goes quiet, but he knows this isn't over yet. With a heavy heart, he realizes there's always something or someone waiting in the wings to test him again. He can't afford to let down his guard, not when protecting those closest means fighting through it all. The curse stops being background noise and starts steering every decision. Using his power helps him survive, but it also burns through him faster, which means every victory is borrowing time from the same debt. The temporary fix keeps him moving for now, but if he cannot find the real cure, every fight he wins just drags him closer to collapse. The curse stops being background noise and starts steering every decision. Using his power helps him survive, but it also burns through him faster, which means every victory is borrowing time from the same debt. The temporary fix keeps him moving for now. But if he cannot find the real cure, every fight he wins just drags him closer to collapse. The anger burns as they face their first real fight since forming the squad. The breakthrough should feel like a win. But money makes everyone in the room dangerous. The magic stone is not just loot anymore. It is leverage, bait, and a possible escape route all at once. So he tries to cash in before the powerful families move first. If he plays it right, he buys time. If he plays it wrong, he sells himself into another trap. The Poles at the academy were making their rounds, and the demons kept multiplying. The family couldn't ignore it anymore. The curse, once a distant worry, now loomed large over every decision. Strengthening the response seemed urgent, but as soon as he thought things might settle down, another issue stepped in. The assassins weren't random after all. Someone sent them. The ring flared as if recognizing the attackers. Now, survival wasn't just about staying alive, it was about understanding the curse. Winning against those assassins was useful, but only because it pointed back to the real problem, the curse. Notching up magic power felt impossible. Each step forward felt like battling an unyielding force. Any victory mattered because it could shift the curse from impossible to slightly less so. He had to figure out the rules before trusting any reward. No matter how wild things got, protecting his family remained the focus. So when the next threat appeared, it confirmed someone wanted him out of the way on their terms. And naturally, the next problem is already stepping into frame. That means they found out he's dealing on their terms. The breakthrough stops being simple loot and turns into money, leverage, and a fresh problem. Everyone around the deal starts acting polite in that very specific way people act when they smell profit. He tries to use the magic stone split before the powerful families cash in first. It might buy him room to move, but it can also become another trap with a price tag. He's seen progress, but that doesn't mean the pain stops. A new rule drops in, offering an edge but also a gamble. So now he's got to move, but who knows what strings come tied to it. His family's safety remains the only constant, the one thing grounding this chaos, but he can't do everything alone. The head of the Kaburisho branch isn't exactly known for playing fair, and there's no telling how many other players will pile into this mess next. No matter how wild things get, protecting his family is still the point. So now he can't ignore the curse anymore. It's steering every decision. His face tightens into tension. Nice progress, sure, but the curse sits there like an unpaid bill. The police are worn down by all this, and money means nothing compared to family. But he has to figure out the rule before trusting any reward. This win only matters because it points back toward breaking the curse. Progress isn't enough when the curse looms over him like a dark cloud. He can't rest until he figures out how to move from impossible to slightly less impossible. Before anyone can enjoy the win, another storm starts brewing. We have no relation to brands or the Black Resistance. Yet here they come again, right after everything was supposed to settle. The room falls silent after their small victory. Before they can catch their breath, another storm cloud rolls in. They're clear of any ties with brands or the Black Resistance. So why does this feel like an invitation? Tension thickens as someone asks if revealing everything was really necessary. Right on cue, the next challenge steps into view. Was this guy ever more than a pawn? Now every move seems calculated. With each step closer, doubts grow. If there's even one crack in their armor, will it be too late to fix it? The air here feels thick with tranquility. To think that he was just some bitch. Thank you for this please and time you have given me. The moment this looks stable, the next mess starts moving. From the secret organizer Tion called Black Rebellion have been arrested. Except if there's a gap, that is. His magic power is about Hood. From the secret organizer Tion called Black Rebellion have been arrested, before anyone can enjoy the win. But their en press confer, enses have always. That means me was able to block any attacks thanks to that. The threat becomes immediate because someone is willing to kill him. Black Rebellion's arrest was a moment to breathe, but the air quickly turned sour again. The relief didn't last long. Now he was staring down a new nightmare. His daughters were inside the special magic tower, under the watchful eyes of those same noble families who claimed to support the nation's magical infrastructure. It felt like a cruel joke. So here they were, back at square one, with no answers and more questions than ever before. But now he had fallen from grace, and the fact that his daughters were trapped only made everything worse. The anger boiled in him. The reward sounds useful, but he knows better than to trust it blindly. The orc chieftain's corpse could become a weapon, a warning, or another rule the system forgot to explain. So before he celebrates, he studies the option like it might bite him, because in this world, even a prize can turn into a trap if he uses it wrong. He can't celebrate his latest win without knowing how to break the curse first. It's like trying to drink water with one hand tied behind your back. The regular meeting ends, and someone drops an eyebrow. Razor being a holy mage is rare. Who knew? Then there's new info about dark rubly stuff, magic nobles getting involved. Suddenly, figuring out the rules feels more urgent than ever. What was that special magic squad dying off about anyway? Now the curse looms over everything again, making him wonder if any prize is worth the price. The curse looms over everything now. The relief from the shattered threat was short-lived. People needed his power more than ever, and he knew it wouldn't last long. So when someone approached him asking about the magic rather than intervening, it felt like a setup. What's this all about? He could sense others nearby, likely connected to the magic. The pressure wasn't easing up. The curse loomed over everything as an unpayable debt. Someone had questions, but it was clear they weren't here to help. "You're not using much power," they said, but their eyes held suspicion. "I just want to know what this magic can do." His patience wore thin. Another question would be the breaking point. The people are counting on him now more than ever. His anger boils over as he realizes this isn't just a momentary respite. And of course, any relief from his magic fades fast. That damn curse looms large, like an overdue payment with interest. It's pressing in, making every breath harder. Kusanagi can't escape its grip anymore. What does that mean for everyone else? Kusanagi's victory is brief. The curse presses in harder than ever, making every breath a struggle. He can't ignore its grip anymore. What does this mean for everyone else? His body gouges under the strain as he faces a new level of intensity. Even for someone as seasoned as him, figuring out the rules here feels impossible. A new problem steps up fast. Someone sent these attackers after him, cornering him deliberately. And now his ring reacts violently, recognizing them instantly. So now the fight isn't random, it's part of something bigger. But what kind of magic power is that? The curse remains active pressure instead of background trouble. Every other victory seems hollow without breaking free from this binding force first. With the ring flaring and the attackers closing in, Kusanagi realizes the next step, understanding who's behind all this, so he can find a real solution. Somebody sent these people, somebody wanted him cornered, and the ring just gave him the first real clue. He still needs to understand what this broken power is actually doing, so the system is still behaving like it owes him a huge apology. The rules shift, giving him a new advantage with a risk attached. He has to figure out the rule before trusting the reward. It won't do much damage even if it hits the enemy. He's focused on keeping his family safe above all else. Every victory means nothing if it doesn't protect them. The problem now is the rising threat from Shadowbringers and the disappointment after the Melvinger family's support vanished. His anger fuels him, but he must stay cautious. Winning isn't enough. It has to mean something tangible for those he loves. The school's completion was a small victory, but it didn't last. Now, the rising threat from the Special Magic Squad looms large. How do you even begin to handle them? It shouldn't be about the squad anymore, yet everyone's eyes remain fixed on their power. Suddenly, another problem steps in. This new twist traps any hope of stability. Winning isn't just about survival. Now there's pressure to use every win as leverage against future threats. But that means falling into someone else's game. With each step forward, the noose tightens. So how does he keep fighting when every move could be his downfall? The ring glowed like a beacon the moment he walked in, and suddenly, everyone knew something was up. 1 minute, it's just dodging assassins and making deals. The next, people are treating him like he has the golden ticket to fame and fortune. The rise of the Special Magic Squad is to blame. Now every handshake feels like a trap. Every smile hides an ulterior motive. As soon as the breakthrough smells like profit, the room starts slicking up. Money is involved, so every friendly face needs a background check. Conversations turn suspiciously polished the second things start looking profitable. It's no longer about getting paid. It's about twisting rules for advantage. The last hit changed everything, but now he faces a room full of schemers who see his victory as their chance to take over. This shows what that last hit actually shifted. Now everyone wants in on something that used to be just another day at the office. The pressure keeps building and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible, so he keeps pushing forward. Not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. He keeps pushing forward, knowing every small victory only makes him a bigger target. The tension hangs thick as they eye each other up. The magic nobles aren't done yet. The breakthrough stops being simple loot and turns into money, leverage, and a fresh problem. Everyone around the deal starts acting polite in that very specific way people act when they smell profit. He tries to use the magic stone split before the powerful families cash in first. It might buy him room to move, but it can also become another trap with a price tag. He feels the rush as level 3 mana surges through him. It's a boost but comes with a catch. The fear eases a bit, he's facing something more manageable. But if the opponent thinks on its feet, a monster like that could turn this around fast. Progress starts to show, making every step less agony. He pushes deeper, knowing climbing is his best shot. The system acts like it's begging forgiveness, throwing perks at him left and right. The dungeon refuses to give him a clean win. Every cleared gate leaves behind one answer and two new problems, forcing him to keep moving before the next wall closes in. He can feel progress, but progress here does not mean safety. It means the system is finally showing him enough to understand how ugly the next fight might become. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. He moves on, ignoring the steady buzz of assassins getting bolder with each step. They're not just shadows anymore, they're right there, breathing down his neck. So why exactly does someone need to be part of these elite squads if every turn brings new threats? The climb isn't slowing him down, it's the only thing keeping him ahead of whoever's pulling the strings. But as soon as one problem fades, another looms ready to pounce. It's clear this shadow bringer is after magicians, and that means he can't afford a second of rest. With no time to catch his breath, he pushes deeper into the dungeon, because standing still means falling behind and giving them what they want. The attack finally turns direct enough for him to ask why they want him dead. Then the ring reacts to his power, which means this ambush is tied to something deeper than another random attack. Once that power wakes up, the fight stops being noise and starts looking like a clue. Worse, the trail points back toward the gods he already wants revenge on. He's out there in the open where he shouldn't be. But the ambush isn't over, just shifting tactics. So now the attack feels personal, direct enough for him to wonder why someone would want him dead so badly. And if they're willing to kill him, then whatever was hiding behind this mess must have its reasons. It wasn't random noise anymore. Every move felt calculated. The place is a port town with shadows creeping into corners as night falls. Outside, his instincts scream danger. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. One question before the next mess explodes. If you were dropped into this mess, would you trust raw power, a dirty plan, or pure spite with good timing? Drop your answer below. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. The ring flares before he can take another breath. 1 second, the attackers are just part of an endless line of problems. Next thing you know, that damn thing on his hand reacts like it knows these guys aren't random. So now the fight's got purpose. Someone sent these people, someone wanted him cornered, and the ring handed him a clue. Whatever the system's doing, it hasn't explained itself properly. It feels like the magic gear owes him a huge apology for everything he's been through. Rules shift again, giving him a new advantage with a risk attached. He needs to figure out what this means before trusting any reward. Each flicker and shift makes his instincts scream caution. But there are no moves left in the old playbook. The ring's reaction was just the start. Now he has to keep moving forward, even if it means stepping into the unknown. Thanks to special magic planning them, Muchagoose attacks have eased up. Relief floods their faces as they finally catch a breath. But this isn't over yet. As soon as things look stable, the next mess starts moving. There is much praise for the police. Relief washes over them as attacks ease up, but they know this isn't a break. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The police are trying to dismanage Shadow Eringer. The moment this looks stable, the next mess starts moving. This has turned into a big spectacle. What are you standing around for? The confidence of the Hughes. It's only a matter of time before Chromo is collide. This has turned into a big spectacle. Before anyone can enjoy the win, and is empowering his attacks, and defense will be in the well. This has turned into a big spectacle. The attack finally gives him something solid to grab onto. His ring reacts the moment the pressure hits, and suddenly this is not just another ambush from desperate killers. Somebody sent them. Somebody knew enough to aim at him directly, so the fight becomes more than survival. It becomes the first clue pointing back toward the gods he already wants revenge on. Desperation claws at him as he fights off wave after wave of assassins who aren't playing around anymore. Knowing full well another storm is brewing right on his heels, doesn't have the luxury of looking back. His magic power was mediocre at best before, but he's pushing deeper anyway. This isn't just any battle. These next moves will determine if he survives long enough to protect those he loves. The situation shifts. A new rule appears, offering him an unexpected edge. But there's always a catch now. Standing still isn't really an option anymore. He needs every trick up his sleeve. These two are the only ones left. The climb isn't slowing down. With each step forward, they face new challenges. He needs every trick he's got. But before they can catch their breath, something shifts. Oh, young man, it's time. They resolve issues with the Mage nobles, but the game isn't over yet. Protecting his family remains the priority. Just as things seem calm, another storm brews. She couldn't help phrasing it in a tricky way. At this point, someone clearly wants him dead. No matter how wild things get, it always comes back to keeping his loved ones safe. Yet, every resolution brings fresh complications. It's like trying to stay one step ahead of chaos itself. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. He's catching his breath after everything, trying to figure out what comes next. But it's clear now, someone is willing to kill him outright. So here he is, facing down another wave of attackers who aren't just throwing darts at shadows anymore. This isn't about making a statement or testing limits. These people are serious. So he asks himself, why? What did he do that made them so angry? It's not like he's been rubbing elbows with royalty or sitting on some throne. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. They barrel forward, smashing through anything in their way. But soon enough, another threat appears on the horizon. The question looms: is survival all there is? He knows they're after only the strong now. Then comes the collision, a sudden jolt sending shockwaves down his spine. This must be Divinion's power, he thinks, narrowing his eyes. His opponent isn't playing by normal rules anymore, making magic use tricky. Every move feels like an uphill battle against currents running deep within him. To think this came from someone who thought they could handle anything. Now it's clear strength matters more than ever here. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. So whatever relief he might have felt barely lasted before the first calamity hit, proving once again that Captain King was all bark and no bite. Climbing higher in the dungeon was the only way forward, but every step brought new dangers. No matter how wild things got, keeping his family safe remained the real goal. But just as he started to breathe easy, another threat appeared out of nowhere. They had likely investigated these risks, yet something crucial slipped through the cracks. So he thought things might calm down. The curse tightens its grip, pushing him toward the next decision. He can't ignore it anymore. Every move feels like he's being led by an unseen force. The reward now matters. It might shift the impossible into something slightly less daunting. But before trusting this new path, he must understand the rules. Every victory here is hollow unless it cracks open a way to break the curse. This win points back at the real problem, how to end the curse before any progress turns meaningless. So this win is useful, but only because it points back toward the curse problem. The chapter opens by skipping the warm-up entirely. A lone mage is already facing the strongest monster in front of him, and one look is enough to tell him this is no ordinary boss. It is a demon god. Then the story gives the first rule that matter's magic rank is decided by magic circles, so the danger is clear before the plot even settles in. This is a world where power has rules, monsters can reach godlike levels, and climbing higher means surviving long enough to learn both. The Mage sisters and the rest of the squad are there, but where are those mage nobles? He's starting to wonder if they're hiding from something bigger. But his worry about keeping his family safe overrides everything else. The anger at these absent nobles who promised protection is growing. As demons pour out of the gates, he knows no one will come to help. Looks like he'll have to handle this himself again. The threat looms in a cold stare down, reminding him there's no easy path ahead. The Mage sisters and squad stand ready, but where are those mage nobles? They promised protection, yet they're nowhere to be seen as demons pour through the gates. He needs to conserve his strength because any moment the demon god could arrive. Finally, some progress on the screen shows he's making headway against this grind. Other disasters, countermeasures recover their stats, but now the curse demands attention. The climb is still the only way forward, and the dungeon is not getting kinder. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The curse tightens its grip, pressing harder with every breath. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The resolve on his face hardened as he faced another wave of enemies. He's barely caught his breath after the last fight, and another threat looms in the shadows. The last thing he needs is to waste what little magic he has left. So there it is, another mess ready to pounce. Just like clockwork. No rest between battles here. Another strike lands. He dodges, sees the ring flare against his hand. It's clear now, they're not just trying to hurt him, they want him dead. Someone powerful is pulling strings from behind the scenes. This isn't a game anymore. With that settled, no respite comes. He moves on knowing someone out there has a death wish. So he's got magic left in his pocket, but every spell counts. No cheap shots now. Ichika Minato isn't that weak. New powers keep coming with ugly twists, making each step riskier than the last. Sure enough, another threat steps up as soon as one falls back. Someone really does want him gone for good, and so with danger closing in from every side, he keeps pushing forward, because at this point stability is just an illusion. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. That information must have been wrong. The climb isn't slowing down. What's your move? And for some reason, magicians were born. The climb is still the only way forward, and the dungeon is not getting kinder. The moment this looks stable, the next mess starts moving. If I used it on monsters, there was a risk that. What have you been doing these so years? At this point, somebody clearly wants him dead. The magic required for me, the demon good to Tranger, was insignificant. He needs to keep climbing before the next wall catches him. The reason you are corrected like this is all. If I used it on monsters, there was a risk that. The climb is still the only way forward, and the dungeon is not getting kinder. Before anyone can enjoy the win, you have the capacity for magic the server receive me. And yet that magic is automatic magic. What is going on it? He needs to keep climbing the dungeon before the next problem catches up. You have the capacity for magic the server receive me. And of course the relief barely lasts. Boot, it looks like your achievements during the disaster were recognized. He's climbing again, pushing through another dungeon floor before whatever's coming catches up. The attack finally turns direct enough for him to ask why they want him dead. Then the ring reacts to his power, which means this ambush is tied to something deeper than another random attack. Once that power wakes up, the fight stops being noise and starts looking like a clue. Worse, the trail points back toward the gods he already wants revenge on. The ring flares up again. This isn't just another attack, it's a clue pointing back at the gods he wants revenge on. But now the exam halls start buzzing with tension. Something hasn't been this public before anyone can catch their breath from the latest win. Doubts creep in, will this measurement even stick? There's always another reason why things go wrong, and sure enough, the tech and knowledge here are far from what you'd expect in developed countries. So when stability seems within reach, chaos whispers around the corner. Who's going to be the next one stirring up trouble? Mech expels favored equals detailing of magical their rank or Heischer 2 knows armation equals power has immersed equals was stating said to be and co. The rules shift, giving him a new advantage with a risk attached. So the progress is finally visible, so the grind is starting to look less like pure suffering. He's been pushing through, but now the attacks are hitting harder. Someone isn't just trying to slow him down, they're aiming to take him out. So when another blade comes in, he sees the ring burn against his hand. They aren't playing games anymore, but that peace doesn't last long. His resolve hardens as he steps outside, ready for whatever's coming next. With each step, the tension tightens. It's clear someone wants him dead. And with that settled, he knows running isn't an option. He has to face it head-on or risk losing everything. He steps outside, tension coiled tight with every step. It's clear now, someone's out to get him. No subtlety left, as if on cue another wave hits. The anger flares inside him. He can't run anymore. Not when they've made their move so bold. They're done hiding behind shadows. Face is what he'll give them. But that peace doesn't last long. His heart clenches as he realizes how much higher the stakes just got. This isn't about avoiding trouble, it's about standing firm, or losing everything. Relief from the last attack is brief. Why are you acting like nothing happened? But still, I can't back down now. He's got the exact power that the 6 sages have. The room feels tense again, but this time it's different. It's like the air outside is buzzing with something new. He's strong enough that nobody dares challenge him. Looks like he doesn't even have any friends around here. So what does that change? The similarities between spirit energy and magic are clear, but they're fundamentally different in how they work. Just as one wave calms, another hits. Spirit versus magic, why can't anything ever be simple? A new rule drops in place, offering an advantage but also attaching a risk. Figuring out the rule comes first. The ring's reaction feels like recognition, hinting at enemies who want him cornered. But the relief barely lasts, realizing someone is openly trying to hunt him down cuts through any moment of peace. The ring flares up. He was holding back, you see. But when 10 threats step in, there's no room left to breathe. The ring flares up again, and suddenly the game isn't just about survival, it's about breaking free from the curse. It's been lurking in the shadows, but now it's front and center, driving his next move, with each victory feeling like ashes on his tongue. He knows there's only one thing left to do. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. He steps onto unfamiliar ground in China, eyes wide at the newness. But trouble looms instantly. Another threat appears before he can catch his breath from the last battle. He wonders what kind of crazy life has led him here. And then, another wave hits hard and fast. Why the hell are they moving so quickly? It's relentless. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. He keeps pushing forward because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. The calm was short-lived. Just as he thought things might settle down, something new came up. It changed everything. He couldn't shake off the feeling they were after him for reasons beyond just his survival. The tension built right back up. But then, in the middle of it all, another twist hit. Relief gave way to dread once more. This place held secrets that weren't meant to be uncovered, and with each revelation, the stakes only grew higher. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. So this is the site of the mass disappearance. The breakthrough stops being simple loot and turns into money, leverage, and a fresh problem. Everyone around the deal starts acting polite in that very specific way people act when they smell profit. He tries to use the magic stone split before the powerful families cash in first. It might buy him room to move, but it can also become another trap with a price tag. Is that an anti-magic shield? The attack finally turns direct enough for him to ask why they want him dead. Then the ring reacts to his power, which means this ambush is tied to something deeper than another random attack. Once that power wakes up, the fight stops being noise and starts looking like a clue. Worse, the trail points back toward the gods he already wants revenge on. So whatever had been hunting him wasn't hiding anymore. He had barely caught his breath when another wave hit. The resolve on the face of whoever was behind these attacks hardened into something more sinister. No mistaking it now, someone wanted him dead. Anger flared in his eyes as he slipped past another blade, realizing there'd be no holding back from here on out. Before he could even think about celebrating any small victory, reality slapped him hard again. A new threat loomed, uglier and more dangerous by the second. He knew he wasn't done yet. As the ring burned against his hand, he understood another puzzle piece had fallen into place. The game didn't get easier. Every move brought fresh danger. What did this newfound power mean? Was it breaking rules or bending them in ways that felt like betrayal? Then there were those damn B16 crystals. Rare as they were, they popped up at the worst times, complicating everything further. No matter how much clarity he needed, the system kept its secrets tight. Each twist left him more uncertain about what came next. He had to figure out this broken power before it broke him completely. The breakthrough stops being simple loot and turns into money, leverage, and a fresh problem. Everyone around the deal starts acting polite in that very specific way people act when they smell profit. He tries to use the magic stone split before the powerful families cash in first. It might buy him room to move, but it can also become another trap with a price tag. The breakthrough should feel like a win, but money makes everyone in the room dangerous. The magic stone is not just loot anymore. It is leverage, bait, and a possible escape route all at once. So he tries to cash in before the powerful families move first. If he plays it right, he buys time. If he plays it wrong, he sells himself into another trap. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. So he keeps pushing forward, knowing every small win only makes him a bigger target. Minato's joining up now, bringing high-level wind magic into the mix. It feels like a gift, but the system's still acting like it owes him an apology, shifting the rules again. He has to figure out if this new power is just another trap before trusting its benefits. The grind starts looking less like pure suffering as progress becomes visible, but relief barely lasts because Yuika and Ruka split off more. Then comes the Gamma threat, clearly after them. With each step forward, something else moves into place, making standing still impossible. So the system's apology starts feeling real as progress shows. He can feel Yuika pulling away already. Ruka's getting distant too. Just when things start looking up, they're hit with another wave. And just like that, any small hope vanishes. What the hell is he thinking? Now the boss is probably in there. Yuika and Ruka are splitting off more. The curse isn't just lurking in the shadows anymore, it's pressing down on him. It's guiding his next move. This latest victory feels hollow because all it does is point back at the curse. But now what? What the hell is he up to? The mana pouring in feels like a storm. But just as the calm sets in, doubt creeps back. Was Whitey's warning all along about this moment? His power isn't just his anymore, it's for everyone now. So before they even catch their breath from surviving, it hits them again. This wasn't meant to be over. Is this what Whitey was talking about? The curse looms beneath everything else. Before they can catch their breath from surviving, it hits them again. It must have been meant for him. What exactly is mana ranking? He needs a way to break the curse before every win feels hollow. This is just the first reading. It's already here, waiting. If they were in the city, disappointment would follow. It must have hit home that this was meant just for him, no matter how wild things get. Keeping his family safe remains his top priority, but now another challenge looms. It's like every win needs to mean something tangible for them. So he wonders about those who messed with the new measuring devices. Does he face someone even higher up? A magic user of the Seven Sages? Keeping his family secure is still what drives him. He can't let any victory feel hollow if it doesn't protect them. If they were in the city, disappointment would follow. But here, danger closes in. Someone out there clearly wants him dead. Keeping his family secure is still what drives him. If they were in the city, disappointment would follow. Here, though, danger closes in. Someone out there clearly wants him dead. He checks again on the way, but it's too late. They're after him now, no room for doubt. Each step he takes feels heavier with the weight of their intent, and as if that wasn't enough, his powers start to falter. Magic suppression hits hard, leaving him vulnerable. So whatever was hunting him isn't just a nuisance anymore, it's a clear-cut threat. No more hiding or playing games. Now, every move matters because protecting them means staying alive. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. The dungeon refuses to give him a clean win. Every cleared gate leaves behind one answer and two new problems, forcing him to keep moving before the next wall closes in. He can feel progress, but progress here does not mean safety. It means the system is finally showing him enough to understand how ugly the next fight might become. The curse stops being background noise and starts steering every decision. Using his power helps him survive, but it also burns through him faster, which means every victory is borrowing time from the same debt. The temporary fix keeps him moving for now. But if he cannot find the real cure, every fight he wins just drags him closer to collapse. So he's got that one victory under his belt. But it's just a band-aid over the wound, because no matter how many battles are won, they mean nothing if the curse isn't broken. And now, with enemies closing in from all sides, ignoring it any longer would be foolish. But right as things start looking up, the ring on his finger starts glowing like a warning flare. It's clear the curse is tightening its grip, turning into an urgent threat rather than a distant worry. Another wave crashes down, each strike closer to breaking point, but there's no time for backing out. This fight proves every step counts, even as shadows loom larger behind him. Things get wild. He's protecting something monstrous. The path ahead grows darker, harder to ignore. So he pushes on, climbing higher in the dungeon. Each step means more danger, but also more resolve. This isn't just about survival, it's about proving that his spirit won't break, no matter what stands between them. The attack finally turns direct enough for him to ask why they want him dead. Then the ring reacts to his power, which means this ambush is tied to something deeper than another random attack. Once that power wakes up, the fight stops being noise and starts looking like a clue. Worse, the trail points back toward the gods he already wants revenge on. He's cornered with no escape. That's the only magic he can use now. Bidlexterity, reaction, and strength are his only weapons here. As soon as things calm down, another storm hits. He needs to master lightning if he wants a fighting chance. The power of the One looms over him. Mastering lightning feels like an impossible task. Just when he thinks there might be a break, the darkness closes in tighter than ever before. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. So the ambush isn't subtle anymore. He sees another blade slice through the air, realizes someone wants him dead. But before he can catch his breath from that fight, a new threat looms. They're here to take down the dungeon's bottom floor, so now every move feels like stepping into a trap. No time to rest. The next problem is already waiting. The pressure keeps building, and he cannot afford to drift through it anymore. Every clue points to the same thing: someone powerful is moving behind the scenes, and every small win only makes him more visible. So he keeps pushing forward, not because the path is safe, but because standing still gives his enemies exactly what they want. The tension doesn't let up. He's running on empty now. His allies' efforts bought him some breathing room, but the calm is short-lived. They're after him with everything they've got. He stands there, fists clenched, staring at the wall behind them. Anger flares in his eyes. This isn't just a game. They want him dead no matter what it takes, and he knows why: his family. That's always been the driving force. With every step forward, another threat looms, but he can't back down. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. So he keeps moving forward, teeth gritted and breath shallow. He is still pushing deeper, because standing still is not really an option anymore. What's wrong? He's climbing fast, but the new power isn't playing nice. Just when things start looking up, boom, someone's got a problem with his progress. He's got bigger fish to fry, but now there's an enemy waiting to make life harder, and as if on cue, monsters pour through gates like some cosmic flex. So he keeps moving, but it's clear every step forward comes with its own brand of hell. But that peace doesn't last long. But the curse isn't just lurking in the shadows anymore, it's right there, pressing down on his chest with every step. There's no escape from this grind, so he pushes through, knowing full steam ahead is his only hope. And sure enough, relief barely holds as more trouble waits around every corner. Now the reward starts to matter. Maybe it can shift the curse from impossible to a little less impossible, but he needs to crack the code first, trust nothing until he understands what this means for him. The route ahead looks wrong, and nobody has the luxury of pretending otherwise. Every step deeper makes the dungeon feel less like a path and more like something trying to herd them. So the question is not whether the way forward is safe. It clearly is not. The real question is whether stopping here would be even worse. That is where this run lands. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. For the finished series, check my Rumble link in the comments.